Today's quote of the day. The quote of the day is be soft, even when the world asks you to be steel. Laugh loud, even if the timing's weird. And love like you've never been told to play it safe. That is today's quote of the day. Now let's get into this video. This PLE, NXT's Great American Bash, was absolutely refreshing. This reminded me of what WWE PLEs used to be like, man. This was a breath of fresh air. This felt so fun to watch. This felt so rewarding to watch. This was amazing. I'm telling you, this literally reminded me of what the old WWE PLEs used to be like, when they actually cared, when things actually used to make sense, you know? We got a whole bunch of amazing matches, segments, moments, and a whole bunch of different match types and like stipulations. Man, like I even caught myself mouthing the words, wait, there's more? Like, dude, it was like the middle of it. And I'm like, dude, that's usually where like WWE would end it nowadays. And I'm like, wait, there's more matches? No way. Like, I was in the middle of it, and like I'm like, I thought it was done. And there was literally two more matches for me to watch. I was like, hallelujah. Like, I was literally mouthing to myself, is there more? There's more? No way. Dude, this was so refreshing. This was, like I said, rewarding to watch. It was a breath of fresh air. This felt rewarding. This felt fun to watch. This felt like everything had a reason, had a purpose, and it made sense, you know? But anyhow, let's just get right into the review and what happened on NXT's Great American Bash. So the first match, it was a normal one-on-one match. It was Javon Evans versus Jasper Troy. You know, bouncy boy Javon Evans. That boy's bouncy. Javon Evans versus Jasper Troy. And before this match even started, I should say that Javon Evans' ribs have been injured from a previous backstage attack from Jasper Troy. Well, multiple backstage attacks from Jasper Troy. And Javon Evans actually sold the rib injuries, like, you know, like you should. You know, if your ribs are injured, sell it. You know, and Javon Evans sold it to a T. Unlike the Man of Steel we have on Raw, unlike the Superman we have on Raw, unlike Superman Sami Zayn, Javon Evans actually sold his rib injuries, unlike Sami Zayn, dude. And I was watching this match, I'm like, Sami Zayn, take notes, because you saw Javon Evans, literally, he came out clutching his ribs, dude, and he even limited his own moveset. Like, every move he tried to do, like, he's a high flyer. He was literally grounded for most of this match, if not all of it. Like, he literally even limited his own moveset just to sell the injury. And I'm like, this is what it's supposed to be like. Sell the injuries, make it make sense, you know? And I was watching this, I'm like, dude, Man of Steel, Superman, Sami Zayn needs to take notes, because this is what selling an injury should look like. But anyhow, though, for those of you who aren't too familiar with Jasper Troy was the first ever LFG winner. So that's some background on him. And he's like, if I had to describe him in the ring, he's like a more agile Braun Strowman. He's a powerhouse, but he's more agile than Braun Strowman, you know? So he's like a more agile Braun Strowman. He's like, and for those of you who watch NXT along with me, he's like a Obafemi 2.0. You know, the ruler, Obafemi. He's like an Obafemi 2.0, kind of. That's how I'd describe him if I had to describe him. But anyhow, though, let's get into some highlights of this match. So starting off this match, Jasper Troy absolutely manhandled Javon Evans, you know, because Javon Evans was injured. Javon Evans was literally not able to get any offense off in the first, like, I want to say 10 minutes of this match. Like 5-10 minutes of this match. Javon Evans was literally not able to get any offense off. Jasper Troy ended up hitting a big spine buster into the ring apron, you know, the hard part of the ring, on Javon Evans. Jasper hit 2 huge frog splashes. Jasper hit a mean-looking power slam. Javon Evans hit a modified Superman punch. Jasper Troy power slammed Javon Evans into the turnbuckles, which looked pretty gnarly. Javon Evans started picking up some offense here. Like, this was near the end of the match, you know. Javon Evans hit a springboard crossbody onto Jasper Troy. Javon Evans hit a spinning tornado kick. Javon Evans hit a suicide dive. Javon Evans hit a big German suplex on the big Jasper Troy, you know, the powerhouse. Javon Evans then hit a top rope frog splash onto Jasper Troy. And Jasper Troy, near the end of the match, ended up hitting a massive choke slam on Javon Evans. And I thought he was going to put him away here. But to my surprise, by sheer luck, Javon Evans was able to manage a reversal on the very last move Jasper Troy did. Javon Evans was able to muster up a reversal, and he turned it into a roll-up. And that's how he defeated Jasper Troy, via roll-up, in that match. And that's how the match ended. And this was like a really good match, man. Even with Javon Evans selling his injury, he still was able to show up and show out. He still looked good in the ring. he still looked like he benefited. He still looked strong, how he should be booking injuries. And this match was good, dude. This match was great. I enjoyed every second of this match. I enjoyed Jasper Troy's moveset, his intensity. I enjoyed Javon Evans' intensity, his, uniqueness in the ring, all that. This match was really good. After this, though, we got our second match of the night. It was Sol Ruca versus Izzy Dame for the NXT's Women's North American Championship. That was a mouthful. But this was a really good match. It was a really good in-ring match, Both of the competitors, they absolutely showed up and showed out. This was a solid match. It was a very good match. Both competitors held their own, and they carried their part of the match, This was very entertaining. And for this match, we had Tatum Paxley and Zarya were ringside. And before the match started, Tatum Paxley took a cheap shot at Zarya, and Tatum Paxley ended up almost. I'm pretty sure she did. I don't even want to say almost. Tatum Paxley absolutely slapped the makeup off Zarya's face at the start of this match, and I was like, dude, it was a good looking slap for whatever reason they did it. They did it, just to make it more, serious, just to show that it's not the same Tatum Paxley anymore, and I kind of like that. After this, though, near the end of the match, I'm just gonna get the interferences out of the way. Near the end of the match, Zarya ended up hitting a big, mean-looking spear on Tatum Paxley for what Tatum Paxley did, and for Tatum Paxley trying to interfere in the match. And that was a little cool moment. So after the interferences, let's just get into what actually happened during this match. So some highlights from this match were that Izzy Dame hit a sky-high powerbomb on Sol Ruca. Sol Ruca hit a top rope missile dropkick. Izzy Dame hit a code breaker to Sol Ruca's ribs, which looked pretty mean. Sol Ruca hit a double feet backstabber, which I'm like, dude, that looked, I don't want to get hit with that. That's all I'm going to say. Sol Ruca also then hit a top of the rope backflip dive onto Izzy Dame onto the outside, which looked amazing. Izzy Dame ended up hitting a off the second rope code breaker onto Sol Ruca. Sol Ruca hit a X Factor off of the top rope. So Sol Ruca and Izzy Dame both were on the top rope. And Sol Ruca ended up reversing it into an X Factor, which looked amazing. Izzy Dame hit a big choke slam on Sol Ruca off the top rope. Sol Ruca hit a spear on Izzy Dame, and for the win, near the end of the match, Sol Ruca hit the Soul Snatcher on Izzy Dame for the win, and Sol Ruca retained her NXT North American Women's Championship. And this was a very good match. In-ring and in-ring storytelling, this was really good. The spots were amazing. This was a very entertaining match. After this, though, we got our third match of the night, and this was by far, absolutely, undoubtedly match of the night. It was Ricky Saints versus All Ego Ethan Page for the NXT North Americans Championship. Fall counts anywhere, anything goes, no disqualification. And let me tell you, this match, it had everything. This match was match of the night. I don't know what this match was missing. It had all the spots you expect and more, dude. Like, this match absolutely stole the show. Like, I literally don't even know what spot I didn't see in this match. We saw everything. There's so much to unpack. So let's just get right into it. This match was amazing. That's all you need to know. So some big spots, some highlights were that Ricky Saints hit a big spear on Ethan Page. Saints ended up whooping Ethan Page with a kendo stick. He got a kendo stick and absolutely lit up Ethan Page, And then the two men ended up brawling to audience area for a little bit. They also then ended up brawling to the concession stands area. Ethan Page ended up slamming Ricky Saints' spine first into a metal pillar, which looked pretty gnarly. It looked pretty gruesome. Ethan Page then got slammed through a concession stand table by Ricky Saints. Ethan Page then, after the match goes on for a little bit, they get back to ringside area. Ethan Page ends up getting a steel chair. He wraps the steel chair around Ricky Saints' neck, and he sends Ricky Saints flying into the ring post, neck first, chair first. And I'm like, oh, that looked bad. It looked good, but it looked bad, After this, though, Ethan Page got sprayed and he got beat with a fire extinguisher. So that was a pretty cool moment. Ricky Saints ended up ripping out a metal guardrail, and he sent it spiking towards Ethan Page. He literally took a guardrail off the floor, the metal guardrail, and he sent it spiking at Ethan Page. And I was like, dude, this is crazy. After this, though, Ricky Saints ended up putting Ethan Page's face, his neck, his face on the ring apron, and he just stomped on it. I was like, bro, come on. I'm telling you, this match was something else. This match, I'm telling you, match of the night and potential match of the year contender right here. After this, though, Saints gets suplexed into the steel guardrail that he, brought into the match. Ethan Page ended up picking Ricky Saints up and he just superplexed them into the steel guardrail. Ricky Saints got body dropped onto two steel chairs that Ethan Page set up. After this, Ethan Page ended up getting power bombed across four steel chairs, which looked it looked painful. That's all I'm gonna say. And a funny spot happened where Ethan Page literally he got beat with a chancla. Those are my chanclas. He got beat with a chancla like he was a Hispanic child, dude. Ethan Page got whooped. He got lit up with a chancla. And I was like, man, I was laughing the whole time. I'm like, where did they even get a chancla out of? Where did they get a sandal out of? Where did they get a flip-flop out of? Ricky Saints got a flip-flop out of nowhere and just started beating Ethan Page with it. I'm like, dude. But anyhow, though, after this happens, Ricky Saints ended up getting sneak attacked by the generational hater with a Hall of Fame sneak attack badge. Ricky Saints ends up getting sneak attacked by Jasper Troy. And at the very end of the match for the win, Ethan Page ends up hitting the Eagle's Edge on Ricky Saints. He sends Ricky Saints flying off the entrance ramp. He sends him flying off the entrance ramp and he goes through two tables. So he hits the Eagle's Edge on Ricky Saints off the entrance ramp onto two tables. And that looked really bad. That looked awesome, but looked really bad. It looked gnarly. And that's how Ethan Page won the match. He hit the Eagle's Edge off the entrance ramp and he pinned Ricky Saints 1-2-3 for the win. And Ethan Page retains his North American Championship. After this, we got our triple threat match contract signing. And it was Trick Williams. Whoop that trick, whoop that trick. Yeah, it was Trick Williams. And say his name and he'll appear. I believe in Joe Hendry. I believe in Joe Hendry. But anyhow, though, it was Trick Williams and Joe Hendry and Mike Santana. They had a contract signing in the middle of the ring because they will have a big triple threat match, I believe, soon. I don't remember the exact date, but they're going to have a triple threat match for the TNA Championship. So we had a big contract signing for that. Anyways, though, long story short, each competitor got on the mic and they said what they had to say. They took shots at each other. And like in every contract signing, it ended up in a big brawl. A big brawl broke out. And as the brawl goes on, Trick Williams ends up getting put through a table by both Joe Hendry and Mike Santana. After this happens, like they kind of fooled us. It was like the segment ended. They started showing something else and they cut right back to it. And then we got the group, the NXT group. We got the NXT group known as Dark State. It's like a Retribution meets the Shield type of group. After this, we got, a Dark State just come into the ring, that group. They absolutely obliterate Joe Hendry and Mike Santana. And it was a pretty cool segment overall. I genuinely enjoyed it. It was really entertaining. But after this, we got to what I thought was the main event, but to my surprise, it wasn't. We got to like probably the second best match on this, on this card. It was Yoshiki Inamura versus the Ruler, Oba Femi. So it was Yoshiki versus the Ruler, Oba Femi, for the NXT Championship. And Josh Briggs was ringside. And this fact is very important. Remember that Josh Briggs was ringside. So this match was absolutely everything I imagined. It was heavy hitting, there was shocking spots, there was interferences, and there was good in-ring wrestling as well as good in-ring storytelling. This match absolutely delivered. So some highlights from this match were that Inamura actually ended up overpowering Oba Femi, and he picked Oba Femi up and he started tossing Oba Femi around like Oba Femi was a lightweight, and that was just really fun to see. Inamura hit a big standing elbow drop on Oba Femi. Inamura hit a flying shoulder tackle off the apron onto Oba Femi. Inamura ended up picking up Oba Femi and he hit a tornado spinning power slam. So he picked up Oba Femi and he just started spinning in a circle with him and then power slammed him onto the mat. I was like, dude, like Inamura is surprisingly strong for his size. Like for like his appearance, he doesn't look as strong as he actually is, which is, what makes him so shocking in the ring. Oba Femi ended up hitting Big E's old finisher, the big ending. He hit that move on Inamura. Oba Femi ended up suplexing Inamura into the ring ropes, which looked pretty bad, I was like, man, that looks like it hurts. And it probably did, honestly. Oba Femi ended up hitting a huge pop-up spinebuster on Inamura. Inamura hit a huge suplex, a huge bridging suplex on Oba Femi. It was a bridging German suplex. He hit that on Oba Femi. Oba Femi hit Inamura with a flying uppercut, and doing this move, he accidentally hits the ref as well. And while the ref is down, Josh Briggs uses the moment to hit Oba Femi in the head with the NXT Championship. And while the ref is down, Josh Briggs tries to convince Inamura to cheat. And Inamura, he's like, he honorably refuses. He says, I'm not going to cheat. I want to win this fair and square. I want to win this by myself. I don't want to cheat, I don't want to use cheap tactics. So Inamura refuses to cheat. So Josh Briggs gets a little mad. Referee ends up rolling back in the ring. Obafemi hits a huge chokeslam in Inamura. Inamura ends up hitting a sit-down powerbomb on Obafemi. Obafemi hits the fall from grace, his finisher, on Yokishi Inamura for the win. And Obafemi, the ruler, ends up retaining the NXT Men's Championship, or the NXT Championship. And we got a pretty cool moment backstage. It was an interview segment where Obafemi was getting interviewed about his win, saying what does it mean to him and what's next for him, stuff like that. And Obafemi basically says, this just shows that I am still the ruler and the better man won tonight. And he said something along those lines. And out of nowhere, Yoshiki Inamura comes, his honorable self. He comes, he apologizes on Josh Briggs' behalf. He apologizes for Josh Briggs' actions. He says, I'm sorry for what my partner did. I wanted to win this match fair and square. I didn't want any interferences. And Obafemi looks at Yokishi, right? He's like, you know what? I respect that. And for this, I will grant you another rematch very soon for the NXT Championship, which was pretty cool. Then for our main event, the main event of the night, we got the Muscle Muffin, JG, Jordani Grace, and Blake Monroe versus Fatal Influence, Fallon Henley, and JC Jane. And this was Blake Monroe's first official NXT/WWE match, and it was pretty neat. It was pretty cool. We had a lot of chants throughout this match. We had Muscle Muffin chants for Jordani Grace. We had You Can't Count chants for the refs. We had Refs You Suck. Ref, you suck. Ref, you suck. We had those chants. But this match overall was really fun. It was really enjoyable. It was really entertaining. So some highlights from this match were that Blake Monroe ended up hitting a spinning sidewalk slam. Jordan Grace ended up hitting a double back body drop. JC Jane ended up hitting a huge pump kick, which looked like a bro kick, but they called it a pump kick. Jordan Grace ended up hitting a Michinoku driver. Blake Monroe ended up hitting a missile drop kick. Fallon Henley hit a off the top rope blockbuster, which looked really good. Fallon Henley then hit a through the middle rope spear. Like what Johnny Gargano usually does, she hit that same move. Like she hits a spear through the middle ropes, which looked really good. Their third teammate, the third member of Fatal Influence, Jasmine Nix, she kept interfering into the match, and we got a appearance from Macha Slamovich. I'm pretty sure I said that name right. We got an appearance from Macha Slamovich, the TNA champion. She came out to neutralize Jasmine Nix. And apparently Jasmine Nix is supposed to face against Macha Slamovich for the TNA championship. So that's what that came about. That's how that came about. So it was a pretty cool moment. At the end of the match, though, Blake Monroe hit a fancy-looking DDT for the win. I don't know what the name of her finisher is. They didn't announce it. They didn't say the name of it, but she hit a fancy-looking DDT for the win. And she pins the champion, JC Jane, for the win. And that was your whole main event. It was amazing, man. And that's how the PLE ended, That's how the PLE ended. And overall, like I said, this PLE felt so refreshing to watch. There was no WWE, no TKO shenanigans or antics. It was, none of that. Just a pure, entertaining PLE full of amazing matches and memorable moments, as they should be, as they should be. I enjoyed this experience so much. I enjoyed it overall. I enjoyed the show so much. I felt so reinvigorated. For a good moment, I really felt my passion, like the reason why I got into wrestling again. Like this just felt so good to watch. Like it was just a breath of fresh air compared to what we've been getting, I enjoyed this experience so much. I enjoyed this whole PLE so much. But anyways, though, overall, I would rate NXT's Great American Bash a solid 8.5 out of 10. It was amazing. I really enjoyed everything from this show, top to bottom. But overall, though, I would rate this whole PLE a 8.5 out of 10, which is really good. And that's my review for NXT's Great American Bash. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for being here. Thank you for listening to me. And thank you for hearing me out. And again, thank you for being here. Like, comment, and subscribe if you want to. Like, comment, and subscribe if you'd like to. And like, comment, and subscribe if you choose to. As always, it's been a pleasure. I'm out.